a rumor that they have found the person that will be Mr. Fantastic. Did you guys hear about this? Now, this is really, really up in the air, okay? Really, really up in the air. Somebody came forward and said that they had heard that Penn Badgley will be Mr. Fantastic. Okay? Now, they since then have backtracked on that a little bit on Twitter, saying that, oh, no, they just heard that on social media. Okay, so let's take a peek at this. Fantastic Four, Penn Badgley reportedly in talks to star in the MCU reboot. Specifically explained that the team would look for the best actor for the job. Former Birth Movies Death editor-in-chief Devin Farisi revealed on a Marvel Vision podcast that Marvel Studios has spoken with Penn Badgley to star as Reed Richards, a.k.a. Mr. Fantastic, in the Fantastic Four, which will premiere in theaters November 8th, 2024. He expressed his hopes for Black Mr. Fantastic. He expects the MCU version is going to be very traditional. Now, that's kind of interesting to me because a couple of years ago, Andy Signor reported that he had heard that they were going to go with a diverse cast for the Fantastic Four. So I guess we'll just see, right? I've long been stumping for a Black Reed Richards. I think John David Washington would be an incredible Reed Richards. I actually agree with that. I mean, I've been stumping for this forever, and I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get a Black Reed either. It's going to be very traditional, is my guess. The guys at Marvel Studios been talking about it are all white guys. The guy Penn Badgley from the show You, which is apparently very popular. I have no idea what the show is. And yeah, and frankly, he's a white guy. Yes, we realize this. They're going with the standard, and he's terrific, by the way. It's a good choice, but they're going to be very classical. Now, I have a couple of different thoughts on this. People, your mileage may vary on this, right? Some people were saying, there should be a lot more diversity. Some people were saying that, like, the diversity is beginning to feel inorganic and feel pushed. I think a good balance is key here. And I will also say that for certain characters, perhaps a more traditional, more classic interpretation is good. And maybe Marvel has even sort of done so much diversity that when it comes to the Fantastic Four, they can essentially do just a traditional all-white Fantastic Four, and it would be very hard for people to get upset about that, considering all the diversity that they already do in a lot of their projects. So that's kind of like where my mind was at with it. I was like, okay, well, maybe they're like, doing this to kind of do this or whatever. And regardless, to me, it always comes down to like, who's best for the role. Now, I don't know too much about this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know too much about him, but there's a couple of things that we got to talk about. Number one, this would suggest that it's not John Krasinski. You know what I mean? And I do wonder, chat, how do you feel about no John Krasinski? Are you sad? Are you sad? Are you upset? Are you into it? Because here's the thing. I feel like John Krasinski's outing in Multiverse of Madness was some kind of audition, and I don't know how many people really loved it. Yeah. You know what? Let's go to the polls. Let's go to the polls on this. By the way, wow, 70% of you say you will not go see The Flash. That's pretty interesting. That is pretty interesting. If Reed is, or how about this? Let's just put it like this. Do you still want John as Reed? That's what I want to know. Do you still want John Krasinski as Reed? Because I think a lot of people are either indifferent to it or don't like it. Strangely enough, I liked him as Reed, but I think there's just a lot of people that don't see him as Reed, or they didn't love what he did with the character, even though he doesn't do a lot. I thought it was great, but I was also kind of surprised at how many people were like, nah, fam, like, that ain't it, right? So, I don't know, man. For me, I'm not really butthurt either way. And, I've looked at a bunch of Badgley's just like work, some scenes, some shots. Sometimes I think he really looks like Reed. Sometimes he doesn't. I think he's a much younger Reed Richards. But yeah, I frankly think that he could do a good job. You know what I mean? He might well be the guy for it, which would be really, really interesting. And, as I sort of alluded to earlier in the stream, D23 is right around the corner, and the whispers are beginning. The whispers are beginning. A lot of people are like, bro, it's about to get crazy at D23. A lot of fun stuff being rumored. So, I don't know. We'll see, and if some of that stuff leaks out, we'll, of course, cover it. But I expect that if this is true, it'll be announced at D23.